Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Rinpoche, for joining us.
Hello, Tashitele.
Rinpoche. Nice to see you after a long time.
I know, right? A very long time. Yeah. And hello to everyone.
Thank you, Rinpoche. So, I would like to welcome everyone for this open session today with Siling Tongkhor Rinpoche. And so as always, we will have two translators this time, German translation and also Spanish translation. So if you would like to listen in German or Spanish, then please choose the language option down there in the Zoom. So yeah, I hope you can find it. But if you have some problem with hearing or some others, then we also have Tibet House chat support. So please write it in the chat, and then our chat support will respond your questions. Now, I would like to begin this with a brief introduction of Rinpoche. And Siling Tongkhor Rinpoche is recognized at the age of 2.5, when he was a very small baby. So he's recognized at the age of 2.5 by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And Rinpoche was formerly enthroned at Serame Monastery, that is in the South India. I think many of you know. Uh, where Rinpoche trained in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition for over 35 years under the guidance of esteemed masters. He later completed advanced tantric studies at Gudum Tantric College in Dharamsala. And since 2017, Rinpoche has been traveling different countries, offering teachings and guiding practices. And his teaching focused on medicine, Buddha, healing practices, Manjushri-based wisdom development, and also Nyune fasting retreats and other profound Vajrayana methods. So today's topic is something a bit different, the power of the mind, but I hope that we will have in future opportunity to invite Rinpoche to also give a talk about these different topics that Rinpoche, you are an expert. And I think that's I would stop here for the short introduction. And Rinpoche, I would like to request you to give a talk like around maybe until uh, 3:50, and then at the end we will also have like 10 minutes question and answer session. And so if you have a question already before, you can, the audience, if you have a question already before, you are welcome to write it in the chat so that Rinpoche can then answer later when we start the question and answer session. So I wish you all a very nice time. And once again, thank you, Rinpoche, for joining this session and for accepting our request. And now I will hand it over to you. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Kusho. So, thank you, Tosamla, for the very kind introduction. And hello, everyone. I see. Yes. Wanted to say hello to everyone. Those of you who are who have turned the video on, I'm just waving to you, and then of course to everyone else as well. And I'm not forgive me, I will not read the names of each of you just to save time, but I really appreciate your presence and for giving me this opportunity to speak and for you to come and listen. Allow me to do a short prayer, which is the to the refuge. So the meaning of this prayer is that may I become enlightened being. May I become a Buddha for the sake of all the sentient beings. The reason I'm doing this prayer is, as a Buddhist practitioner, as a Buddhist monk, before we start any auspicious activity, we pray to the triple gem, the three jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, to give us the blessing and to bless my mind or my heart. So to give me the strength to walk for the benefit of others. So basically, to divert our attention or thought from being in a selfish or self-centered attitude or self-centered condition, which we have been accustomed to for hundreds of thousands of years. So the prayer is that I become Buddha. Buddha meaning an enlightened being, someone who is awakened, someone who is wise, who has the courage to walk for the benefit of all sentient beings. Sangye chodang, so ye chonam la, chanju pardo tani kyapso che. Da ye che so ye be sonam ge, dola penche sangye chu parasho, sangye chodang, so ye chonam. Chanju pardo tani kyapso che, da ye che so ye be sonam. Dola penche sangye chu parasho, sangye chodang, so ye chonam la, chanju pardo tani kyapso che. Da ye jin so ge ben so nam yin, da la ben je san ge do bara sho. So maybe it is familiar to many of you already that in Buddhist practices, we always start with something called shaping our motivation. Because a lot of time, as we were accustomed for a very long period of time, either from this world, or if you believe in previous lives and afterlives, we have been accustomed in many lives prior to this one, in engaging in being engaging in self-centered activities, being in self-centered thoughts, self-centered emotion, etc. So therefore, to divert from the usual path of being self-centered, we start with the proper motivation, what we call a proper motivation. And that motivation is to help other sentient beings. So from this, we see that any practice we start, any activity we start with the proper motivation. Or in other words, we attune our mind, our mindset properly, appropriately. So this tells us that our mind makes what our mindset is at the beginning of any activity, any action, makes a huge difference as to what the outcome will be of the action that you may be engaging. Many times an action itself can be seemingly harmful, but when you are when done with a proper motivation or with a proper intention to help, to benefit others, to benefit certain beings, then even though the action itself may seem seemingly harmful, but it is actually a beneficial action or beneficial act. So we start out with what we call a proper motivation. With the proper motivation, to understand it better in today's layman's terms, to have a proper mindset. to have a proper mindset. With a proper mindset, things that may seem harmful or that may seem uncertain can have a positive outcome, which all boils down to today's topic of the power of the mind. So one good example would be all of us gathered here today. I say about 45 people in the Zoom. We gathered here. Of course, we gathered here. There are so many other conditions, such as the internet, the computer, the laptop, whatever. So many other conditions are there. But the principal condition or the principal cause is that we all decided to join. For my part, I decided to engage in this talk, and from your part, you decided to pay attention, give some importance to what this monk, which you have never met, is going to speak about. So that mindset, or that thought, which is a form of mind, is the seed, that the seed which sprouted into the actions which you can call karma. So I will just bring karma. I'm dropping karma right there, because karma is such a big thing in Buddhism. And a lot of time when we talk about karma, we tend to look at karma totally independent from our own thoughts and actions. So a lot of time, especially even among Buddhism, even among Buddhists, even among Buddhists who are supposedly non-theistic religion or non-theistic spiritual stream, a lot of time when we talk about karma, we think of a certain being or a power or an object by the name of karma, with a capital K, like we have with capital G. So a karma that is out there, or that has been there since beginning of time, and is doing all the work. Karma is the one who is punishing us. Karma is the one who is rewarding us as well as punishing us. But if you tend to look at karma that way, then there isn't much difference between the concept of karma and the concept of a God, a creator God. So this talk is not to diverge into existence of God or not, etc. But my point is that when you look at karma as an independent entity of its own, then there is no difference between the idea of God and karma, except the fact that the name God has been replaced now by karma. And many Eastern traditions that believe in karma, people who belong to traditions that do not subscribe to a theistic creator, somewhat give the same responsibility and the credit to karma as to God. And the main the problem or the issue stems from the fact that you are not associating karma with your thought and your actions. Of course, I think those who are familiar, you know that karma is basically nothing but a Sanskrit word meaning action. And that action comes from a thought. you decided to do something, you decided to say something, and then you say it or you do it. So action follows thought. Action follows intent. An action that is caused by, or that is the continuation, or that is the materialization of a thought. I wanted to drink a cup of water, thought, then I drink a cup of water, the action, the karma. So that the action of drinking a cup of water, glass of water, stems from the thought or the intention that I want to drink a cup of water. So therefore, this is just a very simple example, but we can go to extreme points. Like if I steal something, first I need to have the intent to steal, and then I steal. Or if I build something, if I create something, do something good, for that also I need to have the thought. So the thought, the action follows the thought. So therefore, karma is very much, karma is not an independent entity out there. Independent meaning something that is independent from your own thoughts and actions. There is no separate karma out there, a sort of a universal umbrella-like karma that is controlling your life, doing everything on its own to make your life miserable or favorable. When we talk about karma, in Buddhism, we talk about karma with a small k, no capital K. Just as we talk about gods with a small g, not a capital G. Therefore, karma follows thought or intent, thoughts and intents. And thoughts and intents are mental factors. There is a desire, there is a wish, and then there is an intention, there is a planning, which comes into fruition in the form of the action, the karma. So therefore, all the actions, or basically all the materialization, basically everything that is happening in the world, associated with mankind, associated with creatures, comes because the mind decided to do so. And so therefore, you can say pretty much all the good things that has come into this world is a fruition, is a result of the mind, of the intent. And so, as well as all the negative thing that has happened in this world is also due to the mind. Only the mind can decide, have the intention to wipe out a race of people, a community, selectively. When natural calamities come, they take care of everything, everyone. There is no distinction between what color, what geography, what kind of background you are from, what geographical, what is your geographical leanings, what beliefs you have, how much money you have. There's no difference. When nature attacks, what nature doesn't really attack, but when we say, when there is a natural calamity, it is not selective. It covers everything, everyone equally. Only humans, only intelligent beings can do such a thing. So when we do something heinous, negative, destructive things. It all comes from it starts from the mind. Because the mind decides that something is a threat, someone is a threat. And then the mind starts calling that cluster of community or people or group as a target. Then you start plotting to destroy them physically, verbally. Nowadays, you do it online through the internet. You can, even though you may not necessarily kill someone with guns and bombs, you can destroy someone's character, destroy someone's identity. So many things. That is all done with the power of mind, intent. The intention, the plotting, the planning, the whole thing, all happens here. The mind does that. The natural world does not do that. And the lesser intelligent creatures don't do such thing. Of course, they have the desire to love, desire to be loved and love. And that's about it. In order to get what they want, what they love, they may they work hard for it. And in order to get away from things that they fear, they run away from it. They have a very simple form of basically, other than what we see in this world, except for the human beings, every other creature in this world, life is their livelihood is a bit rudimentary, quite simple. But human beings, because we have this, what His Holiness the Dalai Lama always called this marvelous brain. So having this marvelous brain, having this marvelous skill set inside within us, we have the urge to let it out. It's like a wild animal really wants to come out, really wants to express itself in actions, in speech, and in action, physically and verbally. You want to make a point that I am here. I have this intelligent mind. I have this talent trapped within me. I have to let this thing out. So mind comes, that is the mind. And when we talk about mind, even though we use the term mind, just the term mind, but the mind does not function as an individual entity. Once again, just like the term karma. Mind has many different factors within it. There is fear, there is jealousy, as well as there is love, there is appreciation, there is warmth, there is caring, there is compassion, positive and negative. Doubt, confidence. So to each of the positive mindset, there is a negative, to each of the negative mindset that we live in, there is also a positive, what we call an antidote. So an antidote to all the negative mindsets, what we normally call mental factors, the mind and the mental factors. You can think of mind as something that is all pervasive, and the mental factors, for a lack of better word, you can think of the mind and the mental factors as the mind and the mental factors as the awareness and its functions. So mind has many different functions, as we just discussed. There are positive mindset, negative mindset, all this. In Buddhism, I think you're already familiar. we talk about the mind, or there's a positive and negative mind, of course. And the negative mind, we usually the essence of the negative mind is brought down to what we call the three poisons: ignorance, attachment, and aversion. Sometimes we use the term hatred or anger. So to put it out simply, ignorance is basically confusion, unknowing. Without knowing the proper causes, without knowing the proper characteristics, without having the full fact in your hand, you make an assumption. So it's not foolproof. Okay. So with that confusion, with that confused mind, you make a decision to align with a certain thing, attachment. You align with that person, that ideology, that I don't know, that if you belong to a certain race, if you belong to a certain community, so you decided to align yourself with that, and you start developing attachment for that, because this is the community to which you belong. Now you have attachment, and with attachment, you have stronger and more imbalanced view and perspective on a certain thing. So basically, when you have an attachment to, let's say, for an example, you have an attachment to your community. So, okay, let's use our community as a as an object, as the example. First of all, confusion, ignorance, attachment, hatred. We will use that on my community, my people. First of all, of course, there is something called my people, my community. I do belong to a certain race and community and family. But I was told that my people, my community, my family, they were not ordinary beings. They did so many great things in the past. They were great contributors. And unlike that community, my family were great contributors. I'm proud of my family, my community, which is good. At the same time, it is different, and it is exclusively superior to those other communities, people, families, races, because they may be wealthier communities, but they are not so giving like my community. They may be generous, but they are not as heroic as my community, my people, my family. They have not given up, sacrificed as we did. So basically, you started developing all these things. It is one thing to love and to be proud of your community or your culture, your heritage, but at the same time, this extra attention and imbalanced perspective on me, myself, mine, and them, theirs, others. So with that, what we decide to do is we feel so proud of ourselves, our community, whatever, our community, our family, and we decided to be totally attached to them. So liking something is one thing. Being attached is another. When you like something, you appreciate, you use it, you let it be. But once you're attached, you want it only for yourself. Attachment. The term itself is very clear. Attachment, attached. You are stuck. Cannot let go. Right? So now coming back to the core topic. When you have your family, your community, my community is good. My community is best. My community is superior to your community, everyone else's. So therefore, my community, I'm totally protective, attached. Now something happens to my community, my people. Someone tries to say slander, say something bad about my community. Someone tries to attack my community. Someone writes something bad about my community. I'm furious. Aversion now, right? Anger. I'm angry. So first there's the confusion that me, my community, my people, my heritage is the best. Second, there is an attachment. I don't want to let it go. Third, there is distrust. We call it aversion. So there is anger or hatred towards people who is harming the things, who is bringing harm to what I am attached to. So you have distrust towards them, you have fear towards them, you want to destroy them, get rid of them. This is just an example. I'm using an example on a mass scale. This can be used on a very small thing, like a person that you are attached to, an object that you are attached to, or an ideology. So many things like that. First, you have made up, you have your own version, perspective on a certain topic, certain object, certain person, and then you are totally attached to it, don't want to let it go, let go of it. And then when something happens to it, when someone outside or something outside tries to disconnect you from that thing that you're attached with, then you become furious, you are angry. That's why we can have anger towards our loved ones even. Something that seems contradictory. How can you have anger and hatred sometimes? Anger towards people you love. Because love and anger is contradictory. But there are many times, if that is the case, then there wouldn't be any family drama. There wouldn't be any domestic violence, because the person you love, how can you hate them? How can you quarrel them, fight with them? Cannot happen. But it stems from the fact that even the person whom you love, your spouse, your wife, your husband, your family members, even though they are the person that you love, you have your own conflated idea of them. The first one, ignorance of something they did, something they said, something they have done or may have done or may not have done. And now you are totally entrenched, attached to that small thing, that action, that incident that you had with that person, that family member, right? You have a person, you have a family member, he may or she may have done something wrong, but it may or may not be true. But you already have this idea that that person has done something wrong. Ignorance. And now, based on that incident, you really take this to your heart. If something bad thing that they may have done, you really take this to your heart. Maybe this is not the first time they did that, second time, third time, so many times. You keep counting. You don't want to let go of any of that. From the very first time they did something bad to this, now it keeps accumulating. And then one day, it just burst, outpours. And then there is drama. So that is the ignorance, attachment, hatred. You have your own vision of what's happened. Then you don't want to let go of that vision, that idea or that incident. You are totally attached to it. And because of that, at some point, it boils, it bursts. And then you have anger with your loved ones. So this is another example. The main point coming back is that Buddha Dharma in Buddhist teachings, we always talk about the three poisons, something to be wary of. The anger, which we see all the time. Anger is what we call the usual suspect. When something negative, something bad happens, we always say it's the anger's fault, or something being destroyed, someone being killed, something, some really destructive, really tragic thing happened. We always put the blame on anger. But anger is associated with attachment. We never talk about that. Anyone who is extremely angry towards something is always extremely attached towards another thing. That's when this is another very simple example. If I'm totally attached to this phone, I cannot let anyone else lay their hands on this phone, touch it. Then if someone tries to steal it away from me, I will fight for it. I will get rid of that person. I will try to get rid of that person before they steal my phone. And then I may do something as destructive as eliminating that person, wiping away that person from the face of earth. When I do something like that, then people will point the finger at my anger, my action and my anger. But my anger comes from, it didn't arise spontaneously. My anger towards the person who stole my phone comes from the fact that I have attachment toward this phone. If I am not attached to this phone in the first place, I will not go after the person who take this. I will not go after and eliminate the person who take this phone away from me, because yeah. And the reason I have such a strong attachment towards this phone is because I have this ignorant view that this phone can do everything. This is the answer to everything. So therefore, anyone who tries to harm this, I will not let them go easily. Confusion, ignorance, attachment, hatred. So hatred is the usual suspect, but hatred comes from attachment. And attachment stems from ignorance. So within ignorance, there are two types of ignorance. What we call conventional ignorance, ignorance of so many things. Just basically everything that you don't know is conventional ignorance. I don't know what's inside this phone. I don't know how you make a phone, how to make, how to cook, how to make a sushi. All these things are ordinary kind of ignorances. Then there is the ultimate ignorance, which is not knowing the ultimate truth or the reality, ultimate reality of what things are. In Buddhism, it is said that the ultimate confusion, the ultimate ignorance, the ignorance towards the ultimate reality, is that we tend to believe, we tend to think that everything is self-evident. Everything is existent, self-existing, self-evident, and is truly out there, not realizing the fact that whatever thing that we see and hear and associate with are either a mere projection of our mind or a combination of the projection of the mind and an object, an arising from the object and a projection from the mind combined together. For example, once again, this cell phone is very useful, communication tool, whatever you may call it, very useful, very good, all that thing. For me, for the humans, or you can say for me, because for everyone else, it's useless because it's locked. You cannot use it. For me, it's useful. I can open because I know the key code. I can open it and you make calls, to take photo, whatever. For others, it's useless. For a monkey, it's totally useless. For a monkey, totally useless. A monkey, if you put a banana on one hand, if you keep a banana in one hand and a cell phone in the other hand and give it to him, he will take the banana, not this thing, because it's just nothing. He may take it and then just throw it at your face, right? So this phone being useful, this phone being a communication tool, this cell phone, because a smartphone, right? So it has camera, music player, everything. So this phone being a music player, this phone being a camera, this phone having the ability to make communication, everything is dependent on the fact that the person who uses it, the person in whose hand it falls can actually utilize it. If I cannot utilize, it is useless for me. If I can use it, it's useful. If I can open the camera in this phone, it is a camera. If I can open the music player, it's a music player. If I can open every single apps and devices within it, then it is that much useful. If I don't know how to utilize them, then maybe it's just a very expensive paperweight. So the point I'm trying to make is things being what they are a combination of what they appear to be or what they were purposed to be and your projection. So which comes to the power of the mind. If you go really deep in Buddhism, everything is projection, mere projection, is a mere designation. We will not go that extreme today. Today we will go to the aspect of, to the extent of things being useful on its own, not entirely on its own, but from their side as well as mine, from my side. A fruit is useful as a fruit when there is a person who can eat it. Without anyone to eat it, without the fruit to fall down on the ground and on a fertile ground and to grow back, that fruit is useless on that tree. So the fruit being the object, everything else, the object, and the fruit's ability to grow back being the subject, the mind. Now, the mind, now I will go into, I think we talk about too much dark things. We'll go to more light, more the power of mind. Imagination. Someone who cannot see with eyes, but you tell them, describe to them what you are seeing with braille, they can read. And with power of imagination, they can see, even though they may not be seeing directly with their eyes. Through the utilization of braille technology, not like high tech, but simple technology as braille, and the power of mind, a blind can see. With the power of mind, hatred can be turned into love. This happened so many times in the past, in our histories. We have warring nations at each other's throat, but then we communicate with each other, call to the better, to bring out our humanity, our human side, putting humanity first, putting love first, bringing out the love that is within. No matter how, His Holiness always said that thing, Dalai Lama, His Holiness Dalai Lama always say thing, no matter how evil the person may be, but that evil person himself has a person to love. All the historical villains, right? In the as recently as the World Wars, World War I, II, and in all the American Civil Wars and the European wars, everything. Whenever there is a war, not just in the West, but also in East, whenever there is a tension, political, whatever, all those villainous people, all those evil men, they have they have a person to love. Maybe their spouse. Yes, they're selfish, but they still love someone. Can be their children, can be their parents, can be their spouses, or maybe their own people. So, okay, I'm digressing at the moment, but the point is that we all have the ability to love and care and compassionate, and focusing on the compassionate side, bringing our attention to the love, compassion, and the positive side, we can transform something as dark as hatred of a community, hatred of we can transform hatred into love, appreciation. People who are enemies at each other's throat can become very good friends. We have so many historical examples of such. Not in nations we have such example, in organizations we have such example, within individuals we have so many examples like that. And then from a Buddhist point of view, someone like me, someone as an ordinary being who is confused, who is lost, who is unintelligent, who whose mind is always wavering, can practice through patience, through perseverance, one can become something called the Buddha. This is very beautiful. When we talk about Buddha, in Buddhism, we always talk about becoming a Buddha. It is not like the Buddha was there from day one, from the beginningless. The Buddha, when we say Buddha, we are talking about historical Buddha, Shakyamuni, Siddhartha Gautama. I always say this, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. So that's the full name of the Buddha. But it's not just his name. These three names suggest three different stages in his life, a progression. 2,500 years ago, a boy was born to a king in India. After his birth, he was named Siddhartha. That was Siddhartha. Then he became a very good prince, learned all his skills, martial arts, poetry, politics, statesmanship, all these things. He was going to become a great king, but then he decided not to. He became a wandering hermit. Not a hermit. What's the term? He came out. He became a monk. He decided to practice all these things. Then he was known as Gautama the yogi. Then as Gautama, he practiced after 6 years. There's a popular sort of story. After 6 years of severe practice, enlightenment dawned upon him. Then he became known as the awakened one, or the Buddha. So there was the prince called Siddhartha, who turned out to be a great yogi by the name of Gautama. Through perseverance, he became the Buddha. Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. So my main point here is that someone becoming a Buddha tells us that Buddha is not something there from beginning. Siddhartha, first the boy became Siddhartha, then he became Gautama, then he became the Buddha. And this is evidently possible for all of us. No matter how much of an ordinary suffering state that we are in samsaric world, we all have the same potential. In Buddhism, we call it the Buddha nature. And through the power of mind, through practicing many different forms of mind training, meaning the Lojong practices, through mental through the shamatha and vipassana practices, and through through visualization practices in the Vajrayana and many other practices associated with the mind, one can actually free the mind from all its clingings and then turn to become a Buddha. A Buddha is a perfect person. When we talk about Buddha, we're not talking about someone belonging to an organization or a religious group called the Buddhism or Buddhist, etc. Buddha is someone who is awakened. If you are if your mind is no longer constrained, it is free, it is omniscient, free from all clashes or disturbances, then you are a Buddha. And to become a Buddha is not to be freed from something physical thing, but to be freed from the mental afflictions. And the mind has the power to do that. So mind has the power to sort of self-cleanse, self-purify all the negativities within. Yep. So I think it's time for me to conclude. I mean, I should stop. Like I should have stopped 5 minutes before, and I really apologize for that. And I will just open up for Q&As.
Okay, thank you, Rinpoche, so much. For this very clear and very powerful explanation. So if there is maybe one question, a very pressing, burning one, then I think we can take this. So either please write in the chat or just unmute yourself. So there's something in the chat, but it's in Spanish, so I cannot read it. Oh, okay. Okay, so Miriam is asking how to be harmonious with our ignorance that teaches us accept it as part of the path without any distraction.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you, Miriam. Thank you so much, Miriam, for the question. That's a really profound question, actually. How to be harmonious, how to befriend the ignorance. We ignorance, we tend to believe, we regard ignorance as very elusive. Ignorance is, you can call, manifestation of ego. So ego likes to seep through different cracks within our mind, our being, one of which is ignorance. So therefore, it's important to become harmonious with ignorance, to see ignorance as it is. I think the important thing is that we have to, for a lack of better word, we have to be very open-minded, be open to all sorts, all kinds, be open to all kinds of possibilities. The mind is vast. The mind space, the space of the mind is vast, just like the space of the universe. And we should not restrict our mind to only one or two, sort of only one possibilities. If you open your mind to the fact that there can be many possibilities, there can be variations of there can be various expression of the same truth or same thing. Basically, if you open your mind, then ignorance will have no place to hold on. Ignorance will have to, ignorance will crack. So even though you asked the question about how to be harmonious with ignorance, in my sort of practice, sort of experience, we always talk about how to remove ignorance, not to become harmonious with it. So therefore, one can remove ignorances by shedding light on it. So ignorance is a darkness, form of darkness, and it can be removed through shedding light. And how do lights come? You have to open all the windows, all the doors. And in today's time, you have to switch on all the lights. And all those lights are the possibilities. All the windows are the possibilities. Open all the window, open all the door. Then the light will come in and the darkness will go. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Rinpoche, again for accepting our invitation for this open session. We enjoyed it very, very much. We are very grateful. And yeah, with this, I wish you all a good rest of the Sunday. and a very good start for the next week. Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, everyone.